Kia Sportage has been on our driveway a few times before, but what Kia did recently was they decided to bring in what they call the entry model in the range. So you'll see things like not as substantial a skid plate at the front, and it's black instead of the silver. Little clues like that will tell you it's a different model in the range, but it's still a very, very handsome car, and that's what counts. And you've got these boomerang daytime running lights, for example, that are a feature of the range. You come around on the side over here, you've got your requisite black cladding around the wheel arches and down at the bottom. Interesting dual tone mag wheels on the entry model, but you drop to 17-inch wheels, whereas you'll get 18s and even 19s on some of the top models in the range. But it looks good. Another feature you'll notice is you do get keyless entry, but for example on the upper models you won't need the little button. It'll just detect the key when you approach the car. This one you've got to press the button to lock or unlock, but you do even get folding mirrors when you unlock the car, which is nice. The back seat, I'm not going to jump in, but you do notice, for example, plenty of space in the back seat, and also the interesting feature of USBs on the side of the front seats and not on the center console like you get on so many other cars these days. But you know what, these are little things. At least you do get USBs in the back. So many cars, when they try and make it a more economy version and cut the price slightly, you'll also notice obviously the trim on the door panels is a bit plainer. It's little things like that where obviously they've had to do things to just bring the price in line. But very neat flashing across the top of the C-pillar, for example, and you've still got a fairly substantial spoiler above the boot lid. Open the boot, and that's another place where you'll pick up, you've got to do it yourself. But again, you can't exactly complain, but a really good size boot. This is a 2-Allen boot, you know, it really is. Should make lead foot happy. And thank you, Kia, a full-sized spare wheel, and it is a matching alloy to the rest of the wheels of the car even. So there's something I didn't even expect, quite honestly. But it's little touches sometimes that make the difference. And of course you've got to do that all on your own. Interestingly, no badges telling you what engine is in the car, yet they use the same engine throughout the range, which is a 4-cylinder turbo diesel 1.6 litre that puts out 100 kilowatts and 320 newton meters of torque. Now the 100 kilowatts is probably not as much as one would expect or one would want, but you know what, it really does the job nicely, and of course it is designed for economy. Runs the front wheels through a 7-speed dual clutch automatic transmission.
Hello, my name is Michael. I'm the owner of Change Cars and the host of the TV show All Things Motoring. I have one mission, and that is to make a difference to the motoring public. Making a difference how? Making sure that you have safe options, making sure that you have knowledge. In that regard, it is my absolute pleasure and privilege to work with Alan Rosenmeyer of Motor Matters. The man with a hat, I'm the man with no hat, he's the man with the knowledge. Thank you for watching.
Cruising around the neighborhood, well, you know, the Sportage is a car that has always impressed. For a medium family SUV, it's got nice handling, it's smooth, it's pretty comfortable. Yes, the diesel engine, it's still a bit cold now because this is in the morning, but besides at idle or at very low revs, where you hear the diesel engine, at cruising speeds you don't even hear it, you don't feel it, and that 7-speed dual clutch automatic transmission is just ultra smooth. It really is. It's got various settings like you expect the modes from transmissions these days, but I just leave it in what Kia call their smart mode, where it reads your driving style and just does its own thing. And I think that's the easiest way to drive this car. But around suburbia, it's really a pleasure. It's comfortable. And on the freeway, on the open road, you all know you can cruise all day at the national speed limit in a car like this comfortably. The family fits easily, and it just is one of those cars that is very much in the ballpark for the kind of use you want. And isn't that exactly where you want to go with it? So it's really just Very much, and the success and the sales success of the Sportage speaks for itself as far as I'm concerned, and really makes it quite clear why it's been such a popular choice, not just in South Africa but worldwide for a long, long time. Starting off behind the wheel, as we always do, there's a few points you want to look at. We haven't done quite as much mileage. We've done 345 kilometers on this test. Interesting, another 338 left in the tank, so just over half a tank. That's not bad. Showing 7.3 liters per 100, but what I can tell you about that is that it's been pretty much urban driving. So that's probably as bad as you're going to get as an overall figure with this car. You can, on the open road cruising, I'm telling you, get it well under 6 even, which is what we experienced with the last one, Kia Sportage with the same engine, etc. that we had. Now, you come down to the steering wheel over here. Now, remembering this is the LX model, in other words, the entry-level model, and that's the most important fact that you're going to pick up over here. So, you don't get cruise control, for example. No, you do get cruise control. I'm being silly. You get cruise control. You do get a lane keep assist, and you even get blind spot monitoring over there. So you do get lots of safety features on it, which is quite impressive for a car at the entry model, because remember that they obviously have to take out a lot of features to bring the pricing down. You also do get, even on this one, have a look here, auto on headlights and even auto on wipers over there. So all those features are there for you, and that's pretty nice to know and nice to have. Starting at the center screen, of course, and you've got this very nice one-piece effect over here on the screen between the instrumentation and the infotainment screen, where it's just one piece of glass across. It is a more basic screen, can I call it that? But what more do you want? What more do you need? I don't think it's important. And you have got a very good quality reverse camera, which does give you rear cross traffic warning as well. And there you see people as they walk past behind the car, for example. You come down now, you've got the very different effects and looks on the dash over here. You've got, it is plastic, yes, we know that, but it's not bad plastic. And then you've got this carbon fiber type strip across the middle, and below it is, of course, your dual zone climate control with all your controls over here, and the very clever system that Kia operate, where if you press that button there, it changes to all your settings and buttons for your infotainment screen. So of course you've got the home button, etc., etc. You know how it works, but it's very interesting. You press the one button there to change between the two. Below that, you've got two USBs, a normal and a USB-C, and a 12 volt over there, a place for your phone, but you do lose the inductive charging pad that you would get with more some of the upper models in the range. The engine start button over there. I've mentioned earlier the 7-speed dual clutch automatic, very smooth, very comfortable, works very nicely. It doesn't have paddles on the steering wheel, but you can just knock it to the side and use it as a manual Tiptronic if you really want. Your drive mode switch is over there, and if you go back to the screen, you'll have a look. If I toggle that, it in fact only on the infotainment, on the instrumentation here, you toggle, you can go between normal, sport, smart, and I've left it in smart all the time. Again, over here where that is, you do have a hill descent control, which is useful, and that button which I use on so many of my test cars, which turns off the auto stop start. One of my gripes on this car has to be this little piece here though, and I've got to mention it to you. Those are there for the upper models in the range that have obviously more buttons, more controls. And to me, I'm sorry Kia, but every time I got into this car, this over here, this little setup said to me, you couldn't afford better. You couldn't afford one of the upper models in the range. And to me, that almost detracts from what is such a nice car. It just is this constant reminder, this constant, you could have paid more money. Anyhow, it's there. But you've got a nice center console, drinks holders, all those sort of things. And of course, fairly sporty shaped seats with nice holding and nice restraining on the side restraints, but again, cloth instead of leather on the upper models. Now again, this is something only you can decide if you want or not. It doesn't actually worry me. In fact, so it's quite nice to drive a car with nice cloth seats for a change instead of leather. That can be slippery, and in a Joburg summer can get so very, very hot. But overall, the point being, what Kia have done is they only offer the 1.6 diesel now, that 100 kilowatts, 320 Newton meters, with the 7-speed dual clutch, which is nice. And what they've done is they've now got about 5 models in the range, all with that, as I said, the same platform, same engine, same gearbox, and just different pricing, because it depends on what you want luxury wise and safety wise. And that's where the question mark comes into me, is on the safety field. Where do you want to go with all your ADAS, as they call it these days? Active cruise control, active braking, active, you know what I'm talking about. So those are things you've got to decide. But what they've done is this one comes in at 655,000 Rand. And if you want the GT Line S, which adds all those things I spoke about, and body kits and panoramic roof, and understand where I'm going, you can go up to just over 800,000 Rand. So there's where you make your choices. They all come with a 6-year, 90,000 kilometer service plan as well. Sportage is a popular choice for a good reason. It certainly is one to look at if you're in this market. But there are so many others to look at. You've got to get in, drive them, and decide for yourself which one works for you. For Change Cars, for Motor Matters, I'm Alan R, and I'll see you next time.